Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Today's episode, we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to be catching essentially the end of the market here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we can see Tesla. We can see that we are effectively just coming down here to the lows of the session. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. 875 was the low. We're hovering around 877. So it's a sell-off today, obviously. And the big reason for a lot of this is mainly due to the fact that I think a lot of people are scared about what Elon might do in order to get the funds to acquire Twitter. I also think a lot of people are very paranoid about what's going to happen right now with Microsoft, all right? So we're waiting right now for the earnings from Microsoft. I'm looking, just waiting for it. So I'll pull that up as soon as it happens, and we'll take a look. Essentially, what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that either Microsoft and Apple are going to save the market right now, or tomorrow we're going to have further bloodshed. So we'll find out. It all starts off with Microsoft. Now, while we wait for that, I think it's going to be a couple minutes here. Ooh, yeah, look at that. This is definitely bleeding. So it looks like Tesla officially closed. Looks like 876 around there is where we closed at. Yeah, about 876.42. Looks like that was the final print. But yeah, so that's just we don't need to watch that anymore. This is post market, so just noise in my opinion. All right, so before we get further into this and while we wait for Microsoft earnings, don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. If you guys want to support the channel, you can find my Patreon link down below, and I'll also leave a link up here. Today, we also had news from Ford. Ford Lightning got released today, and honestly, a lot of mixed emotions and thoughts about it. I was honestly kind of confused. So I was watching it with my fiance. We were sitting on the couch, and we were watching it. And at first, I won't lie, I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's kind of nice. They're giving kind of like credit to their past and their history. And, I kind of enjoyed that. That was nice. I mean, I used to own a Mustang, so yeah, I get it. There's a lineage and there's history here, so I'm all about that. But then after that, man, did it just fall flat. And I mean, the best way to really explain it was like listening to a bunch of marketing terms being spilled out over and over to you, yet no concrete things. I mean, for example, at one point they said things you've never seen in a truck before. Things are so revolutionary. It's like, what? What is it? Tell us what it is, but they wouldn't. All they want to say is all these buzzwords, marketing words, whatnot. So that was kind of disappointing. Then we had the UAW up there, and again, their spiel, their rhetoric, the same, yada yada kind of BS. And then Farley gets up there, and Farley I don't know, maybe this is the first time I've actually seen Farley talk in volume. But man, if that's your leader, I don't know. It's hard to look at that, especially when we have someone like Elon Musk as the leader of Tesla. It's hard to compare Farley to Musk. I mean, Farley just seemed like, I don't know, a 50-year-old dad from the 40s. I mean, that's what he felt like. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 50-year-old dads. I mean, dads are great. Any age dads are great. But just the way he came off, it just seemed like he was so dated. It seemed like he didn't understand what was going on. I mean, he said when he was talking about our software will get smarter and people love the experience with our software. It's like he didn't even know how to use the right words. He's just not a contemporary. And if I keep looking this way, it's just because I'm keeping an eye out for any update on the release for Microsoft earnings. So apologies if that's a little distracting. Let me actually just come over here and make sure that I have things queued up, ready to go. I don't want you guys to have to wait for this. But yeah, so overall, I thought it was kind of disappointing. Farley even had a couple jokes that he tried to throw at the expense of Tesla and Elon, saying things like, your Tesla friends can charge their vehicles with the F-150 by plugging into it. He talked about how the F-150 was out on time and it will be the best EV truck out there. Compared to anyone else, if they can get their vehicles out on time or anything, I don't know. There was some joke about that. And then he finished off essentially by saying, that Tesla or that Ford is going to be or is planning to be the most EV, to deliver the most EV trucks, and then overall to become the biggest EV leader in the market. So I don't know. I mean, they're not even the biggest ICE vehicle sellers. So why would we ever think that they're going to be the biggest EV sellers? So that seems a little off. Okay. Looks like Microsoft earnings are in. Looks like they beat. So that's good sign. Not a big beat. Okay, here we go. Let me just pull this up and I'll share my screen. Okay. And now let me try to share here. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. All right, so here we go. Let me zoom in on this. Okay, so earnings, $2.22 versus $2.19, adjusted as expected by analysts, so that's good. Revenue, also beat on revenue, so that's good. In the quarter, Microsoft announced a plan to acquire a video game publisher, Activision Blizzard, for $68 billion. Largest transaction in Microsoft 47-year history. That's kind of funny when you see the $68 billion, and that's like the largest that they've done in their history. And meanwhile, Elon is closing on a $44 billion deal. That's kind of funny. Research Gartner, PC, okay, sharpest decline. Okay, so PC shipments marking the sharpest decline since the first quarter of 2020. Following pandemic-fueled market expansion, okay. Microsoft also raised the price of certain Office 365 product software, okay, so that's not a big deal. Russia invaded Ukraine during the quarter as well. Microsoft had disrupted Russian-backed cyber attacks aimed at Ukraine. Yeah. Microsoft shares are underperforming the S&P 500 so far this year. They fall. Okay, so that's pretty much it. No real other news. Okay, Alphabet earnings are out. Let's see these. Let's see how these are. Okay, are out. Here are the numbers. Okay, let's zoom in. All right. This looks like a miss. Earnings per share, $24.62 per share versus $25.92 expected. Revenue, $68.01 billion versus $68.11 billion expected. Okay. YouTube advertising, $7.51 billion expected. Google Cloud, $5.76 billion expected. All right, so that's interesting. Let's let me just come off of here and let's switch over to. I'm just gonna switch this over to Webull. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so here we have Webull. So let's go ahead. I guess we can take a look at Tesla again. So Tesla is seeing some pressure down the 860s. All right. Well, let's go take a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft seems to be selling off. Seems like people don't like what they see there. And, yeah, there we go. Alphabet. Oof. Okay, yeah. So they're selling off hard. So, yeah. So this is the market we're in right now, people. It's you either hit your number really well or above, or you're going to get crushed. I mean, look at this. They're down 5% after market right now. Microsoft, they hit their numbers and they're down 3%. Where's Tesla? Tesla's down about 1% post-market. Let's take a look at that again. Yeah. So this, in my opinion, is unwarranted for Tesla. This is ridiculous. This is a reason for people to sell Google, buy Tesla. This is a reason for people to sell Netflix and buy Tesla, right? Tesla, very strong, beat on every metrics despite having 4 days of shutdown in Shanghai. So this is, I mean, we'll keep an eye on this as long as I'm on here, but we can come back to it. All right, so let me continue about Ford. So so overall, the whole Ford revealed F1 Lightning, it was kind of disappointing. I mean, it was an attempt to almost energize everybody, but it seemed to fall flat. It was just nothing but marketing terms, all these promises, all these things. They didn't even deliver any of the F-150s, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't even think they delivered to any Ford employees, and they even had people there who were supposed to be reservation holders, and they didn't deliver to them. So not really sure what that was all about. And as you saw the whole presentation, I mean, if you juxtapose it to Cyber Rodeo, it was just night and day. I mean, here, I'll pull up my Twitter. There's a couple things that I thought was very telling. And it just kind of shows the entire mood, the difference in the mood. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, yeah, here we go. So let me share this. Okay, so take a look at this. So this was at Ford. On the right here, we can see all the people there who who were in the audience. Which it was weird because it felt like the people were paid to be there. That's what it felt like. All right, people are really enjoying the Ford Lightning event today, so this is pretty funny. It's a good meme. But there's another one. Let me see. Let's see if we can find it here. Oh, here we go. So this is great. So take a look at this. The difference between Tesla event and a Ford event. So on the left, if you guys remember, this was like that Michael Jackson moment. Fans literally crying, just celebrating, just partying. So this was at Tesla Giga Rodeo or Giga Austin, the rodeo event, Cyber Rodeo, and then this is Ford. This is the Ford Lightning event. So I'm not saying that they need to be the exact same or that Ford needs to be like Tesla, but it's just funny because you could tell that Ford was trying to kind of have a little fun and kind of be a little Tesla-like, but I thought it landed flat. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I figured I might as well talk about it. There's also a couple other things. Let me see. I wrote these down this morning just because I wanted to touch on them. I didn't plan on making a video today, but I figured there's a couple things that were just on my mind. I felt like I had to talk about it. Let's see. Yeah, so all right, so there's just three things I want to touch on. It was just something that was on my mind, and it was the whole impetus for me hopping on. I wasn't expecting to have a down market like this today, but I wrote these three things down that I just wanted to touch on. It was on my mind. Just felt like I needed to talk about this, so I figured I'd hop on and just do a stream of consciousness, not worry about any edits or anything, just put it out there, and hopefully you guys don't burn me down in the comments too much. So all right, so the first thing I want to talk about was just this whole notion about with Twitter and Tesla or Elon buying Twitter, right? All of a sudden, what's the new rhetoric? What's the thing that people can do to stop the deal, or just what kind of noise can be made? And obviously, right away, they come up with something. And so the new noise, which is kind of spearheaded by Jeff Bezos, or it's not that he wrote the initial question or thought about, does this mean that China has more pressure, influence over Twitter now? But Jeff Bezos definitely tweeted it, retweeted it, and made it a lot bigger, drew a lot of attention to it. So the whole thought behind this is that because Tesla has such a big presence in China, because there's so much influence in China, does that mean that China and the government there will be able to put pressure on Elon to have an influence on Twitter? Right? This is silly, right? So this whole idea is silly. I mean, with this same logic, then you would have the same issue with Apple. Right? Every one of these phones, right? You could have China putting pressure on Apple to do certain things in their Apple store, or have certain things because the phones are assembled there and then shipped to the United States. What about that, right? What kind of conflict could there be because of that, right? Is Tim Cook making different decisions because China assembles the phones, and obviously that's a very big part of the supply chain for Apple. I mean, it's just a silly remark. I mean, I don't think neither's here nor there. And again, if you were going to make that same argument with Twitter, who cares about Twitter? Who cares? You can make that same argument about SpaceX, and SpaceX is way more important to national security and just to humanity in general than Twitter. So I don't know. That argument just seems like a very shallow, not thought out issue with regards of Elon buying Twitter. So that's silly. And even then, the hypocrisy of Jeff Bezos to bring this up and say this is a good question. Now, mind you, Jeff Bezos did an hour later come back and say, no, I don't, my opinion is no, I don't think that this would be an issue for Elon or whatever. Okay, but still, the fact that he even put this out there. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, how many things are made in China? How many products are made in China? Right? I mean, how much does Amazon rely on China? Yes, you're not the CEO anymore, but you still own a vast majority of Amazon. So it's a little hypocritical. So that was one thing I want to talk about. Let's see. So the other thing I want to talk about is I keep hearing people on CNBC, on Bloomberg, on Yahoo, on any of these financial media outlets talk about how, so Elon said that he's not buying Twitter to make money. And everybody seems to be so attached to this, saying, oh, well, what are they going to do? What's going to happen to all the employees? They're just going to leave because Elon doesn't care about making money. Well, if you haven't noticed, Elon has never cared about making money. You don't start a rocket company when nobody else has done this with the thought of, yeah, I'm going to do this to become rich and make money. No. You don't start an electric vehicle company in a world dominated by oil and internal combustion engine vehicles thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this to make money. No. You do them because it's the right thing to do, because it's something you believe in, and because there's a bigger idea that you're going for, right? And if you do those things and they are the right thing, and they're things that humanity just draws to because they just tend to be the right thing, well, guess what? That's when money follows, all right? So I think it's just a weird interpretation of Elon whenever he says that he's not in Twitter for money. He's in Twitter for free speech, to have a public square for everybody to be able to talk and open and express their ideas. To quote Elon, he hopes his biggest critics do not leave the platform because that is free speech. Now, that is the thought, the point behind him acquiring Twitter. Now, what tends to happen is when you lead by mission, and that's where your whole focus is on, mission first, well, then profits tend to flow, a la PayPal, a la Tesla, SpaceX, soon to be Twitter. All right, so I think it's just a misinterpretation of what Elon's really saying here, and I think if more people thought mission first rather than profits first, then you would see better outcomes as well. And this goes for everyone, even employees. If employees would focus more about doing good work, well, money tends to follow and get recognized for people who are doing good work. So I think that's important. The last thing I really want to touch on was this whole idea. Again, look, maybe I'm setting myself up to be annoyed by these things because I watch all of these financial outlets. But hey, it is entertaining to me. I do think they provide some value. So I'm going to watch them, and it's part of my routine. So it is what it is. But it almost seems like a disservice to every single person who might be watching this, and anybody, any young person, any person who's looking for financial advice, and none of what I'm about to say is financial advice, but all these people who are sitting there, you turn on the TV, and you have all these people from Wall Street come on, and you hear them say, yeah, based on the Fed raising the rates and the potential for a recession, we think it's best to rotate out of equities and go into bonds and all this stuff, and risk manage your portfolio, and maybe go into some more stable stocks and less cyclical and all this crap. And it's like, look, honestly, the best advice you could get from investing, not from me, from Warren Buffett, don't touch it. Touch less. Don't worry about these fluctuations. Buy and hold, right? I mean, all this stuff that they're talking about, no wonder hedge funds underperform the averages. This is why. I mean, it's just crazy to me. I mean, I really, like, it's crazy how things can be so censored in certain ways, but other ways they're not censored, right? Like, how is that not a message that's censored, right? In what world have we seen that it proves over decades that that's the right move, to constantly be moving your money around? And even then, for the everyday person who's watching CNBC or Fox Business or Bloomberg or Yahoo, do you really think that's what they're doing? No. They just want to say, hey, what's going on in the markets? Hey, what's the news? Hey, who just had earnings? I mean, I don't know. It just seems a little silly to me. I often wonder, who are they really speaking to? Are they just speaking to each other? I mean, I guess I'm watching, so they're speaking to me, but I'm sitting there watching thinking, this is stupid. This is not good advice. But again, that's just my opinion. All right, so let me just hop back over here one more time. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, General Motors. Okay, here. So let's share this. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay. General Motors profit dipped in the first quarter amid rising costs and supply chain issues. Okay, well, let's zoom in here. Okay, adjusted EPS, $2.09 versus $1.68. Oh, that's pretty good, though. According to, consensus estimate. Revenues, $35.98 billion versus $37 billion. Ooh, that was a big miss. So GM reaffirmed its pre-tax adjusted earnings forecast of between $13 billion and $15 billion for the year, while lowering its net income expectations from between $9.4 billion to $10.8 billion. Okay, well, that's interesting. So they're lowering the net income expectations. Okay, so 11.2. Its first quarter profit margins was 8.2%. Compare this to Tesla, we're looking at 30%, down from 9.3. Okay, so they're, wow, okay, they really are getting some pressure here. GM is among the first major automakers to report its first quarter results. Investors are watching the report closely. Okay, everyone. Okay. In addition to inflation and other macroeconomic factors, the global automotive industry has been battling supply chain problems. Okay, yeah, we all know that. Ongoing Ukraine issues, we know about that. China, COVID-19. Investors will also be looking for any progress or updates on GM's plans for autonomous and electric vehicles, including a planned $35 billion investment in the technologies through 2025. So just adding more debt to their already immense pile of debt. GM doesn't typically break out such costs on a quarterly basis, though rival Ford Motor has promised to begin doing so next year. Shares of GM are down roughly 34% so far in 2022. Its market cap is about $55 billion, down from more than 90. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen for 1 second, and I figure let's have some fun, and let's just jump back in, and let's take a look at Webull here. Oh, look at this. Tesla's getting a nice bounce. Is this Tesla? Let me make sure. Yep. Yep, that's Tesla. Okay. All right, there we go. That's a little better. So we're still down in after hours, but it's coming back a little bit. All right, but let's go to GM. Let's see how GM's doing. Oh, GM is all over the place. Okay, so mixed reviews here right now. Still, GM is up in aftermarkets. Okay, Microsoft is rebounding. Look at this. Microsoft is up now. Okay. Google is trying to recover. All right, so we'll have to see. Tomorrow will be interesting, to say the least. Tomorrow may be more of the same. Again, let's come back to Tesla, see how this is doing. Again, this makes no sense with Tesla, but either way, it's neither here nor there. We're thinking about long-term investing. So as long as we have our sights towards the future, towards long-term, that's all that really matters. I think what's happening right now is just people being a little scared, a little spooked about Elon potentially selling shares so that he has enough equity or enough cash available to buy Twitter. But it really seems more along the lines of Elon just going to leverage what he has in order to put up collateral to buy Twitter. Again, I'm not an expert in this. I don't pretend to be. I don't claim to be. But I don't think, and if Elon did sell, it was today, I think. I mean, there's a lot of volume today in Tesla. So we'll see. Either way, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If he has to raise $12 billion by selling, I mean, it's, we move a lot more volume than that on a per day basis. So he's got time to do this. Everything will be fine. At the end of the day, we have our sights to the future. And, if you're unsure about where it is Tesla overvalued or anything, take a look at this video I made yesterday. All right. This is a video where I'm trying to crowdsource all of you so that we can kind of make a more refined and defined idea of what a conservative viewpoint will be for 2030. A lot of you have already commented on that video and give me some good feedback. So I will be taking a lot of that into account. But again, for those of you who thought that I was being way too conservative, keep in mind, the idea is to be conservative. The idea is to say, okay, if we were very conservative, what would 2030 look like? And if even at that conservative point of view, we are still at a $8 to $10 trillion market cap, well, then it's a no-brainer to buy as much as we can right now. Buying at $873 a share, that's a steal. Now, I get it. Some of you might not have capital right now, but hey, do whatever you can. I'm doing whatever I can to make sure I have extra cash so I can keep buying, relentlessly, because every single share you buy now is going to be worth 10x, in my opinion, in at least 10x in the next 10 years. All right, we're going to leave it there. Different kind of video today. No real agenda. Just want to hop on, get some thoughts out there, some things I was thinking about. The whole Ford news, sorry, that I was excited for, and it turned into a flop in my opinion. So, it was a little disappointing. I don't know. I want to get excited about another EV maker, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be Ford. Mary Barra is just, making me laugh nonstop in a depressing way, to be honest. Like, it's just kind of sad to hear the things she says. So, I don't know. Hopefully, Tesla gets a real competitor there soon, other than China. China is very clearly a competitor. All right, we're going to leave it there. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. If you want to support the channel, you can find my Patreon link down below. I'll try to leave a link here. I think I can only do it once in a video, but again, you can feel free to find my Patreon there. I will go ahead and share a lot of the models I make. I put them up there so you guys can find them there if you're interested, and you can download them, view them, etc. All right. Yeah, I think I've said this like 10 times. I love you all. Peace.